Hi, my name is Sam and I'm a blocked creative. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know I'm doing the artist way. And now that we're halfway through, I guess, we should talk about what it is and why I'm doing it. The Artist Way is a 12-week self-help book that promises to give you a spiritual guide to unblock your creative self. A lot of famous people swear by this book, and I think it had a moment on TikTok, but my guess is that fad, most people that did the fad did not really commit to 12 weeks, because I think if they did 12 weeks, it would have spilled out into other platforms. Even, I bought this used off Thrift Books, and even the previous owner did not make it past week 4, or at least stopped taking notes and highlighting and doing all the things after week 4. So I am on week 6. We're halfway through, and let's talk about it a little bit more. At the end of the day, this is a self-help book. And it's so funny because ever since I have become an adult, I have just been recommended like self-help books or like business books, which feel like self-help just like in a different like genre, right? Like in a slightly different section of the bookstore or library. And it's funny because my whole life I've been a reader, and truthfully, me and my friends would pass around fiction recommendations like it was nobody's business. But ever since I've become an adult, it's more story brand and building a better brand and the E-Myth and the question behind the question and why your 20s or your new 30s or your 30s or your new 20s. I don't throw that book away. If you're in your 20s and somebody has recommended that to you, throw it away. It is so, we're not going to get into that today. Today we're talking about The Artist Way. Anyways, this book has 2 non-negotiables that it tells you in the opening chapters. The 2 non-negotiables are morning pages and an artist date. And additionally, each week has tasks or practices or exercises it wants you to complete during the week. At the end of each week, you reflect on what you did, what you learned, if you've had any breakthroughs. You can like set your weeks however you want. It kind of softly recommends Sunday to Sunday, but I actually do mine Monday to Monday, right? So Monday is the start of my week. I do my reflections on Sunday, and then Monday starts my next week. I said that kind of wrong, but I'm gonna keep it. Truthfully, no one in my life personally recommended this book to me. I saw a gal on my YouTube homepage talk about like week 0, I'm starting The Artist Way, and she mentioned, you know, kind of the trendiness of it and some of the famous people that have sworn by it. And at the time, I was feeling really just kind of lost, and I had made that video that was like, what do I want out of this one precious life? And this video kind of popped up on my feed, and I ordered the book off Thrift Books without looking too much into it. I did not want to dig in and then get all the critiques and criticisms. I just wanted to order the book and let's get started, right? I could do 12 weeks of a program. Let's do it. Now, I have been making videos on this here internet since 2007. That's right, 19 years as of May 25th. And I went to school for TV and video production, and now I own a video production company. But the funny thing is that I've always considered myself a technician, right? I have never really thought of myself as a creative or as an artist. And it is so funny how other people perceive us, right? One time my sister told me that like my brother-in-law was like, oh, you know, Sam's the creative one in the family. And last year we were actually working with a local theater group, and we were having conversations with one of the moms who volunteers and also works for the group, teaches some classes. And she was kind of like, we can see that you really love your art. And these comments always kind of like stop me in my tracks, right? Because I don't really view myself as an artist. It's never a title that I've claimed. Maybe creative, right? I think everybody has some creativity in them. But never really claimed the word artist, and I've always viewed myself as a technician, right? I'm here with gear to film, and I know the technical way to make that happen. And yeah, you need some creativity to like get yourself some ideas, but for the most part, like, I think this also kind of goes back to, I originally wanted to be a TD, and we originally wanted WeSee to be a live stream company, which is a little bit more on the technical side than it is the creative side. But either way, video is a creative outlet, is an artistic outlet. So I wanted to kind of reclaim that title, but that's truthfully not the reason that I wanted to start The Artist Way. If we're being honest with ourselves, I am in some deep burnout, right? I have said a lot of things in my vlogs to further give evidence to that. But I'm feeling a little bit lost on what I want out of this one precious life that I have. I wanted to find maybe some spiritual direction, but mostly I wanted to find my spark. So now that we're halfway through The Artist's Way, how am I feeling? One, I have a lot of critiques about Julia. I write them in the margins. This book definitely comes from a place of privilege, but that doesn't mean I think that it's useless, and I don't think that that means it's without, like, good things for me. So let's talk about the two non-negotiables. First non-negotiable is morning pages. I've actually never really hated morning pages. I journaled on and off throughout my entire life. I do like that it gets me out of bed in the morning and gets me to write things down. And now that we're kind of halfway through, I have not reread any of my morning pages because the book says not to. I would guess, though, that my earlier morning pages are much more self-critical and much more negative. I think that my current morning pages are a lot more stressed because I am stressed, but I wonder if they would be a little bit less like Debbie Downer to the clinical degree that they were in the beginning. But I've never hated them. I've never dreaded them. I'm actually really good about getting up and doing my 3 pages. I will say I found that like at the page and a half mark for a little bit, I was kind of like procrastinating. Like it would be like something would pop in my head and I'd be like, I have to do this right now. And then sometimes I would do it and then I would be like, oh, I only like wrote half a morning page. Like, what am I doing? I need to just like finish this first and then I can go do whatever I need to do. Now, non-negotiable number 2 is the artist date, and that I do struggle with sometimes. For the first time this week, week 6, I actually planned and did an artist date that like brought me so much joy and was like, why was I not doing this? Instead of just like, let me go retroactively say that going to the thrift store was an artist date, right? So my goal for the rest of the program is to actually plan and protect my artist date and do some fun, cool things that like I've been meaning to do or wanting to do anyway. Like, let's do it. Come on. The book says that like realistic expectations, you're not going to get through every single task every single week, but I do try to do at least half the tasks, and I will say I'm pretty good about doing them. Some of them feel like they don't necessarily relate to me, or sometimes, right, like I just don't have answers for things. Now, a revelation that I kind of had last week was, I think for the first 4 chapters, yes, I was reading the passages kind of, and I was doing the tasks, but I was just kind of going through the motions without actually doing any of the work. Like, yeah, I'm doing the tasks, but like, am I actually thinking about what that means for me? Or like reading the passages without like taking notes and without like highlighting and calling out key quotes. Like, I was a very good student once upon a time, and I would like to be again. It's funny because like in doing some of this, I've reread some of my older journals and things, and I've been talking about getting a master's degree since 2017. And maybe this is the book that's going to actually get me there. Who knows? Too soon to tell. We're only halfway through, friends. So last week, I actually went back through the first 4 weeks and was reading for comprehension, right? Was reading for critical thinking, was highlighting and making notes in the margins and taking notes of my own on the side, and revisiting some of the tasks that maybe I didn't do, or maybe revisiting the tasks that I did but just kind of like went through the motions of, and really started to give myself over to this book in a way that I feel like I was not doing. And it's funny because like, if you would like some examples, is yes, sometimes I am highlighting or making notes about like the things in the book. For example, creative life involves swaths of attention. Attention is a way to connect and survive is something that like I highlighted in the book. Is like, yeah, I know this, but do I know it? But also on page 2 of week 1, I wrote, should have known that this would be steeped in privilege when chapter 1 opens with a day trader, LOL. Right? So I think that, yes, is this book perfect? No. Was it written in 1992 and does it have some dated things? Yes. But also, I think that everything is what you make of it, right? So I am making the tasks more relevant to my life. I am making the practices work for me. I am making this work for someone living and existing in 2026 who does not have a lot of disposable income and who is looking to figure out what a creative-led life means. But that's the gist on why I'm doing The Artist's Way, and what my thoughts are here at the halfway point. If you've done the Artist's Way, let me know. I know people do it multiple times. Like, if you've had some different experiences, let me know in the comments. And if you want to see my week by week experiencing this real time, I am vlogging it. So there's a playlist somewhere, and you should check it out. I'm existing. I'm living in this hellscape we call a world. So I will see you next time in the vlog.